Chapter 2 The Sankhya Yoga. Shloka 1. Sanjay Uvacha. Tam tatha kripayavishtam ashrupurnakulekshnam. Vishidantam idam vakyam uvacha Madhusudan. Sanjay said, to him who was thus overcome with pity and who was despondent, with eyes full of tears and agitated, Krishna or Madhusudana, the destroyer of Madhu, spoke these words down. Shloka 2. Shri Bhagwan Uvacha. Kutastava kashmalam idam vishme samupasthitam. Anaryajustam asvaragyam akirtikram Arjuna. The blessed Lord said, whence is this perilous strait come upon thee, this dejection which is unworthy of thee, disgraceful, and which will close the gates of heaven upon thee, O Arjuna. Shloka 3. Tlabyam ma esme gama partha netat tvayupapye. Shudram hridaya daurbalyam tyaktvatishta parantapa. Yield not to impotence, O Arjuna, son of Pritha. It does not befit thee. Cast off this mean weakness of the heart. Stand up, O scorcher of foes. Shloka 4. Arjuna Uvacha. Katham bhishmam ham sankhye dronam cha Madhusudan. Ishubh pratyotsyami pujar havarisudan. Arjuna said, how, O Madhusudana, shall I fight in battle with arrows against Bhishma and Drona, who are fit to be worshipped, O destroyer of enemies? Shloka 5. Gurun ahtavahi mahanyubhavan shreyo bhoktum bhakshyam apihaloke. Hatvarthakamams to Gurun iheva bhunjiya bhogan rudhirapradigdhan. Better it is, indeed, in this world to accept alms than to slay the most noble teachers. But if I kill them, even in this world all my enjoyments of wealth and desires will be stained with their blood. Shloka 6. Na chatad vidmah kataran no gariyo yadvajayama yadi vano jayu. Yan eva hatva na jiji vishamaste vasthita pramukhe dhata rashtra. I can hardly tell which will be better, that we should conquer them or they should conquer us. Even the sons of Dhritarashtra, after slaying whom we do not wish to live, stand facing us down. Shloka 7. Karpanyado shubhathasvabhava prikshami tvam dharmas mudha cheta. Yakriya syan nishchitam bruhi tanmeshishyasteham shadhi mam tvam prapannam. My heart is overpowered by the taint of pity, my mind is confused as to duty. I ask thee, tell me decisively what is good for me. I am thy disciple. Instruct me who has taken refuge in the dawn. Shloka 8. Nahi prapashyami mamapanudyadhyachokam uchoshnam indriyana. Avapya bhumavaspatnam ridham rajyam suranam api chadhipatyam. I do not see that it would remove this sorrow that burns up my senses, even if I should attain prosperous and unrivaled dominion on earth or lordship over the gods. Shloka 9. Sanjay Uvacha. Evam uktava hrishikesham gudakesha parantape. Na yotsya iti govindam uktava tushnim babhuvaha. Sanjay said, having spoken thus to Hrishikesa, Lord of the senses, Arjuna, the conqueror of sleep, the destroyer of foes, said to Krishna, I will not fight, and became silent. Shloka 10. Tam uvacha Hrishikesha prahasaniva bharta. Senaya ubhaya madhye vishidantam idam vacha. To him who was despondent in the midst of the two armies, Shri Krishna, as if smiling, O Bharatha, spoke these words. Shloka 11. Shri Bhagwan Uvacha. Ashocyan anvashocastvam prajnavadamascha bhashse. Gatasu agatasumscha nanushochanti pandita. The blessed Lord said, thou hast grieved for those that should not be grieved for, yet thou speakest words of wisdom. The wise grieve neither for the living nor for the dead. Shloka 12. Na tvevaham jatu nasam na tvam nem janadhipa. Na chavana bhavishyamah sarve vayam atahparam. Nor at any time indeed was I not, nor these rulers of men, nor verily shall we ever cease to be hereafter. Shloka 13. Dehinosmin yatha dehe kaumaram yavnam jara. Tatha dehantara praptir dhiras tatra na muhyat. Just as in this body the embodied soul passes into childhood, youth and old age, so also does he pass into another body. The firm man does not grieve thereat. Shloka 14. Matra sparshastu konte shitoshna suklo kada. Agma paino nityas tanstitiksha's bhart. The contacts of the senses with the objects, O son of Kunti, which cause heat and cold and pleasure and pain, have a beginning and an end. They are impermanent. Endure them bravely, O Arjuna. Shloka 15. Yam hai na vyathayantyete purusham purusharshabha. Samanduha sukham dhiram somritatvaya kalpate. That firm man whom surely these afflict not, O chief among men, to whom pleasure and pain are the same, is fit for attaining immortality. Shloka 16. Nasto vidyat bhavo na bhavo vidyat sate. Ubhyorpi drishtuntastvanayo statvedarshibe. The unreal hath no being. There is no non-being of the real. The truth about both has been seen by the knowers of the truth, or the seers of the essence. Commentary. What is changing must always be unreal. What is constant or permanent must always be real. The Atman or the eternal, all-pervading self ever exists. It is the only reality. This phenomenal world of names and forms is ever changing. Names and forms are subject to decay and death. Hence they are unreal or impermanent. Shloka 17. Avinashi tu tad vidhi yena sarvam idam tatam. Vinasham avyasyasya na kaschit kartum arhat. Know that to be indestructible, by whom all this is pervaded. None can cause the destruction of that. The imperishable. Commentary. The self pervades all objects like ether. Even if the pot is broken, neither that is within and without it cannot be destroyed. Similarly, if the bodies and all other objects perish, the eternal self that pervades them cannot be destroyed. It is the living truth. Shloka 18. Antavanta ayami deha nityasyokta sharirina. Anashino prameyasya tasmad yudhyasva bharta. These bodies of the embodied self, which is eternal, indestructible and immeasurable, are said to have an end. Therefore, fight, O Arjuna. Shloka 19. Ya enam vetti hantaram yaschanam manyet hatam. Ubhotau na vijanito nayam hanti na hanyat. He who takes the self to be the slayer, and he who thinks he is slain, neither of them knows. He slays not nor is he slain. Shloka 20. Na jayate mriyate va kadachinnayam bhutva bhavita vana bhuya. Ajo nitya shashvatoyam purano na hanyate hanyamane sharire. He is not born nor does he ever die. After having been, he again ceases not to be. Shloka 21. Unborn, eternal, changeless and ancient, he is not killed when the body is killed. Veda vinashanam nityam ya enam ajam ave. Katham sa purusha partha kam ghataiti hanti ka. Whosoever knows him to be indestructible, eternal, unborn and inexhaustible, how can that man slay, O Arjuna, or cause to be slain? Shloka 22. Vasamsi jirnani yatha vihayanavani grihnati naroparani. Tatha sharirani vihaya jirnanyanyani samyati navani dehi. Just as a man casts off worn-out clothes and puts on new ones, so also the embodied self casts off worn-out bodies and enters others that are new. Shloka 23. Nainam chindanti shastrani nainam dahati pavka. Na chanam kledyantyapo na shoshaiti maruta. Weapons cut it not, fire burns it not, water wets it not, wind dries it not. Commentary. The self is partless. It is infinite and extremely subtle. So the sword cannot cut it, fire cannot burn it, wind cannot dry it. Shloka 24. Achedyoyam adahyoyam akledyo shoshya ivacha. Nitya sarvakta sthanur achloyam sanatna. This self cannot be cut, burnt, wetted nor dried up. It is eternal, all-pervading, stable, ancient and immovable. Shloka 25. Avyaktoyam achintyoyam avikaryoyam uchate. Tasmad evam viditvanam nanushochitum arhasi. This self is said to be unmanifested, unthinkable and unchangeable. Therefore, knowing this to be such, thou shouldst not grieve. Shloka 26. Atha chanam nityajatam nityam va manyase mrita. Tathapi tvam mahabaho naivam shochitum arhasi. But, even if thou thinkest of it as being constantly born and dying, even then, O mighty armed, thou shouldst not grieve. Commentary. Birth is inevitable to what is dead and death is inevitable to what is born. This is the law of nature. Therefore, one should not grieve. Shloka 27. जातस्य हि ध्रुवो मृत्युर्ध्रुवं जन्म मृतास्य च तस्माद् अपरिहार्यर्थे नाट्वाम शोचितुम अर्हसि. For certain is death for the born and certain is birth for the dead. Therefore, over the inevitable thou shouldst not grieve thou. Shloka 28. अव्यक्तादीनि भूतानि व्यक्तामध्यानि भारता अव्यक्ता निधानान्यवा तत्र का परिदेवना. Beings are unmanifested in their beginning, manifested in their middle state, O Arjuna, and unmanifested again in their end. What is there to grieve about? Commentary. The physical body is a combination of the five elements. It is perceived be the physical I only after the five elements have entered into such combination. After death, the body disintegrates and all the five elements return to their source. The body cannot be perceived, no. It can be perceived only in the middle state. He who understands the nature of the body and human relationships based upon it will not grieve thou. Shloka 29. Ascharyavat pashyati kaschid enamascharyavad vatti tathaiva chanya. Ascharyavat kainam anya shrinoti shrutvapenam vedana chaiva kaschid. One sees this, the self, as a wonder. Another speaks of it as a wonder. Another hears of it as a wonder. Yet, having heard, none understands it at all. Commentary. The verse may also be interpreted in this manner. He that sees, hears and speaks of the self is a wonderful man. Such a man is very rare. He is one among many thousands. Therefore, the self is very hard to understand. Shloka 30. Dehi nityam avdhyayam dehe sarvasya bharta. Tasmat sarvani bhutani natvam shochitum arhasi. This, the indweller in the body of everyone, is always indestructible, O Arjuna, therefore, thou shouldst not grieve for any creature. Shloka 31. Swadharmam api chavekshya na vikampitum arhasi. Dharmyadhi yuddhachrayonyat kshatriyasya na vidya. Further, having regard to thy own duty, thou shouldst not waver, for there is nothing higher for a kshatriya than a righteous war. Commentary. To a kshatriya, one born in the warrior or ruling class, nothing is more welcome than a righteous war. Shloka 32. Yadricha choppannam swargadvaram apavrita. Sukhina kshatriya partha labhante yuddham idrisham. Happy are the kshatriyas, O Arjuna, who are called upon to fight in such a battle that comes of itself as an open door to heaven. Commentary. The scriptures declare that if a warrior dies for a righteous cause on the battlefield, he at once ascends to heaven. Shloka 33. Ath chetvam imam dharmyam sangramam na karishyasi. Tatah swadharmam kirtim chahitva papam avapsyasi. But if thou wilt not fight in this righteous war, then, having abandoned thine duty and fame, thou shalt incur sin. Shloka 34. Akirtim chapi bhutani kathaishanti tevyayam. Sambhavitasya chakirtir marnad atirichit. People, too, will recount thy everlasting dishonor. And to one who has been honored, dishonor is worse than death. Shloka 35. Bhayad ranad upratam mamasyante tvam mahartha. Yesham chatvam bahumto bhutva yasyasi laghvam. The great car warriors will think that thou hast withdrawn from the battle through fear, and thou wilt be lightly held by them who have thought much of thee. Shloka 36. Avachavadamascha baho vadishanti tavahita. Nindantastava samarthyam tato duktaram nukin. Thy enemies also, cavilling at thy power, will speak many abusive words. What is more painful than this? Shloka 37. Hato va prapsyasi swargam jitva va bhokshyase mahe. Tasmad uttishtha konte yuddhaya krite nishchaya. Slain, thou wilt obtain heaven. Victorious, thou wilt enjoy the earth. Therefore, stand up, O son of Kunti, resolved to fight. Shloka 38. Sukhdukhe sen kritva labhalabha jayaja. Tato yuddhaya yujasva navam papmavasyasi. Having made pleasure and pain, gain and loss, victory and defeat the same, engage thou in battle for the sake of battle. Thus thou shalt not incur sin. Commentary. This is the yoga of equanimity or the doctrine of poise in action. If a person performs actions with the above mental attitude, he will not reap the fruits of such actions. Shloka 39. Isha te bhihita sankhye buddhir yoge tvimam shrinu. Buddhya yukto yaya partha karma bandham prahasyasi. This which has been taught to thee is wisdom concerning Sankhya. Now listen to wisdom concerning yoga, endowed with which, O Arjuna, thou shalt cast off the bonds of action. Shloka 40. Neha bhikramna shosti pratyavayo na vidya. Swalpam apyasya dharmasya traite mahato bhaya. In this there is no loss of effort, nor is there any harm. The production of contrary results a transgression. Even a little of this knowledge, even a little practice of this yoga, protects one from great fear. Commentary. In Karma Yoga, selfless action, even a little effort brings immediate purification of the heart. Purification of the heart leads to fearlessness. Shloka 41. Vyavasayatmika buddhir ekeha kurunandana. Bahushakha hyanantascha buddhayo vyavasayana. Here, O joy of the Kurus, there is a single one-pointed determination. Many branched and endless are the thoughts of the irresolute. Shloka 42. Yam imam pushpitam vacham pravadanya vipaschita. Vedavadarata parthananyad astiti vadina. Flowery speech is uttered by the unwise, who take pleasure in the eulogizing words of Vedas, O Arjuna, saying, there is nothing else. Commentary. Unwise people who lack discrimination place great stress upon the Karma Kanda or ritualistic portion of the Vedas, which lays down specific rules for specific actions for the attainment of specific fruit. They extol these actions and rewards unduly. Shloka 43. Kamatmanah swargapra janma karma phalapradam. Kriya vishesha bahulam bhogaishwarya teen prati. Full of desires, having heaven as their goal, they utter speech which promises birth as their word of one's actions and prescribe various specific actions for the attainment of pleasure and power. Shloka 44. Bhogashwarya prasaktanam tayapahrita chetasam. Vyavasayatmika buddhya samadhana vidhyate. For those who are much attached to pleasure and to power, whose minds are drawn away by such teaching, that determinate faculty is not manifest, that is steadily bent on meditation and samadhi, the state of superconsciousness. Shloka 45. Tregunya vishya veda nistregunyo bhavarjuna. Nirdvandavo nityasattvastho niryogakshema atmavan. The Vedas deal with the three attributes of nature. Be thou above these three attributes, O Arjuna. Free yourself from the pairs of opposites and ever remain in the quality of sattva, goodness, freed from the thought of acquisition and preservation, and be established in the self. Commentary. Guna means attribute or quality. It is substance as well as quality. Nature is made up of three gunas: sattva, purity, light, harmony; rajas, passion, restlessness, motion; and tamas, inertia, darkness. The pairs of opposites are pleasure and pain, heat and cold, gain and loss, victory and defeat, honor and dishonor, praise and censure. Shloka 46. Yavanartha udpane sarvatah samplutodek. Tava sarveshu vedeshu brahmanasya vijanata. To the Brahmana who has known the self, all the Vedas are of as much use as is a reservoir of water in a place where there is a flood. Commentary. Only for a sage who has realized the self are the Vedas of no use, because he is in possession of knowledge of the self. This does not, however, mean that the Veds are useless. They are useful for neophytes or aspirants who have just started on the spiritual path. Shloka 47. Karmane vadhikarast ma phaleshu kadachna. Ma karma phal hetor bhur mate sangostva karmani. Thy right is to work only, but never with its fruits. Let not the fruits of actions be thy motive, nor let thy attachment be to inaction. Commentary. Actions done with expectation of its rewards bring bondage. If you do not thirst for them, you get purification of heart and ultimately knowledge of the self. Shloka 48. Yogastha kuru karmani sangam tyaktva dhananjaya. सिद्ध्यासिद्ध्यो समो भूत्वा समतवाम योगा उचाते. Perform action, O Arjuna, being steadfast in yoga, abandoning attachment and balanced in success and failure. Evenness of mind is called yoga. Shloka 49. Durena hyavaram karma buddhyo gad dhananjaya. Buddho sharnaman vichcha kripna falhitva. Far lower than the yoga of wisdom is action, O Arjuna. Seek thou refuge in wisdom. Wretched are they whose motive is the fruit. Commentary. Actions done with evenness of mind is the yoga of wisdom. Actions performed by one who expects their fruits are far inferior to the yoga of wisdom wherein the seeker does not seek the fruits. The former leads to bondage and is the cause of birth and death. Shloka 50. Buddhiyukto jahatiha ubhe sukrita dushkrite. Tasmad yogaya yujasva yog karmasu kaushalam. Endowed with wisdom, evenness of mind, one casts off in this life both good and evil deeds. Therefore, devote thyself to yoga. Yoga is skill in action. Commentary. Actions which are of a binding nature lose that nature when performed with equanimity of mind. Shloka 51. Karmajam buddhiyukta hi phalam tyaktva manishina. Janmabandha vinirmukta padam gakanthyanamayan. The wise, possessed of knowledge, having abandoned the fruits of their actions and being freed from the fetters of birth, go to the place which is beyond all evil. Commentary. Clinging to the fruits of actions is the cause of rebirth. Man has to take a body to enjoy them. If actions are done for the sake of God, without desire for the fruits, one is released from the bonds of birth and death and attains to immortal bliss. Shloka 52. Yada te mo kalilam buddhir vyatitarishyati. Tada gantasi nirvedam shrotavyasya shrotasya cha. When thy intellect crosses beyond the mire of delusion, then thou shalt attain to indifference as to what has been heard and what has yet to be heard. Commentary. The mire of delusion is identification of the self with the body and mind. Shloka 53. Shruti vipretipana te yada sthasyati nischala. Samadhavachla buddhistada yogam avapsyasi. When thy intellect, perplexed by what thou hast heard, shall stand immovable and steady in the self, then thou shalt attain self-realization. Shloka 54. Arjuna uvacha. Stitaprajnesya ka bhasha samadhisthasya keshava. Stitadhi kim prabhashita kimasita vrajeta kim. Arjuna said, What, O Krishna, is the description of him who has steady wisdom and is merged in the superconscious state? How does one of steady wisdom speak? How does he sit? How does he walk? Shloka 55. Shri Bhagwan Uvacha. Prajhati yada kama sarvan partha manoktan. Atmanyavatmana tushta sthita prajnastadache. The blessed Lord said, When a man completely casts off, O Arjuna, all the desires of the mind and is satisfied in the self by the self, then is he said to be one of steady wisdom. Commentary. All the pleasures of the world are worthless to an illumined sage who is ever content in the immortal self. Shloka 56. Dakheshvanudvignamna sukheshu viktaspriha. Vitaradbhaya krodha sthitadhir munir uchate. He whose mind is not shaken by adversity, who does not hanker after pleasures and was free from attachment, fear and anger, is called a sage of steady wisdom. Shloka 57. Ya sarvatra nabhisnehes tattat prapya shubhashubham. Nabhinandati na dveshti tasya prajna pratishtita. He who is everywhere without attachment, on meeting with anything good or bad, who neither rejoices nor hates, his wisdom is fixed. Shloka 58. Yada samharte chayam kurmonaganiva sarvashay. Indriyani indriyarthebhyas tasya prajna pratishtita. When, like the tortoise which withdraws its limbs on all sides, he withdraws his senses from the sense objects, then his wisdom becomes steady. Shloka 59. Vishaya vinivartante niraharasya dahinarasvarjam rasopyasya param drishtva naivate. The objects of the senses turn away from the abstinent man, leaving the longing behind. but his longing also turns away on seeing the supreme dog. Shloka 60. Yatto hyapi kaunte purushasya vipashchita. Indriyani pramathini haranti prasbham manay. The turbulent senses, O Arjuna, do violently carry away the mind of a wise man though be striving to control them. Shloka 61. Tani sarvani samayamya yukta asita matpare. Vashe hi yasyendriyani tasya prajna pratishtita. Having restrained them all he should sit steadfast, intent on me. His wisdom is steady, whose senses are under control. Shloka 62. Dhyayato vishayan punsah sangas teshu pajayate. Sangat sanjayate kamah kamat krodho bhijayate. When a man thinks of the objects, attachment to them arises. From attachment desire is born. From desire anger arises. Shloka 63. Krodhat bhavti sammohan sammohat smriti vibhramay. Smritibaram shad buddhinasho buddhinashat pranashyati. From anger comes delusion. From delusion the loss of memory. From loss of memory the destruction of discrimination. From the destruction of discrimination he perishes. Shloka 64. Ragadvesha viyuktastu vishyanindariyaschara. Atmavashayir vidheyatma prasadamadigakate. But the self-controlled man, moving amongst objects with the senses under restraint and free from attraction and repulsion, attains to peace. Shloka 65. Prasade sarvadukhanam hanir asyopajayate. Prasannashitaso hyashu buddhya paryavetishtate. In that peace all pains are destroyed, for the intellect of the tranquil-minded soon becomes steady. Commentary. When peace is attained all miseries end. Shloka 66. Nasti buddhir ayuktasya na chayuktasya bhavna. Na cha bhavayata shantir ashantasya kuta sukham. There is no knowledge of the self to the unsteady, and to the unsteady no meditation is possible. And to the unmeditative there can be no peace. And to the man who has no peace, how can there be happiness? Shloka 67. Indriya nam hi chartam yanmano nuvidhyate. Tadasya harati prajnam vayur navam ivambhasi. For the mind which follows in the wake of the wandering senses carries away his discrimination as the wind carries away a boat on the water's dock. Shloka 68. Tasmad yasya mahabaho nigrihitani sarvashay. Indriyani indriyarthebhyas tasya prajna pratishtita. Therefore, O mighty armed Arjuna, his knowledge is steady whose senses are completely restrained from sense objects. Shloka 69. Yanisha sarvabhutanam tasyam jagrati samayami. Yasyam jagrati bhutani sa nisha pashyato mune. That which is night to all beings, then the self-controlled man is awake. When all beings are awake, that is night for the sage who sees. Commentary. The sage lives in the self. This is day to him. He is unconscious of worldly phenomena. This is like night to him. The ordinary man is unconscious of his real nature. So life in the self is like night to him. He experiences sense objects. This is day to him. Shloka 70. Apuryamanam achala pratishtam samudram apah pravishanti yadvat. Tarvat kama yam pravishanti sarvesa shantim apnoti na kamkami. He attains peace into whom all desires enter as waters enter the ocean, which, filled from all sides, remains unmoved. But not the man who is full of desires. Shloka 71. Vihaya kamaya sarvan pyumamshchareti nihaspre. Nirmamo nirhankara sa shantim adhikchati. The man attains peace, who, abandoning all desires, moves about without longing, without the sense of mind and without egoism. Shloka 72. Isha brahmi sthiti partha nainam prapya vimuhyati. Sthitva ziyamanta kilpai brahmanir vanam richrati. This is the Brahmic seat, eternal state, O son of Pritha. Attaining to this, none is deluded. Being established therein, even at the end of life one attains to oneness with Brahman. Shloka 73. Hari Om Tat Satiti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Supanishatsu Brahmavidyayam Yoga Shastre Shri Krishna Arjuna Samvare Sankhyayogo Nama Dvitiyodhyaya. Thus in the Upanishads of the glorious Bhagavad Gita, the science of the eternal, his scripture of yoga, the dialogue between Sri Krishna and Arjuna,